dare you not believe what you're told by the government? Are you one of those dirty independent thinkers?
Welcome back to Jake GTV News. Are you idiots still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Let's just ask the FBI. Clearly, they'll tell us the truth. Take it away, John.
Yeah. Now that you've allowed 9/11 and JFK, why allow Epstein?
Oh, yeah, that perv.
Oh, my God. Why did he just say that? As of course, that's what a lot of people are thinking. All of this, as I've been raising some interesting theories about what I think is going on here, obviously declaring that they're theories, but still getting viciously attacked right now by the corporate media and Keith Olbermann, which I'm going to be responding to in this particular video, as I found some of the criticism a little too pointed, as there's an interesting theory to entertain here, and that is, what in the world is going on with Donald Trump? Clearly, he is not following his campaign promises. Clearly, he's acting a little bit erratic. Some people would say having potentially even a meltdown here, as of course this issue is not going to go away. And if there ever was a worse way to get rid of an issue, this is it. As of course we have a major Streisand effect on our hands right now that I think is only going to get worse right here, as we are left to just theorize what's going on here. And that's exactly what I did. And if you appreciate someone who actually tells you, hey, we're theorizing here, we're not coping. A lot of people are coping. A lot of people are just making stuff up. A lot of people are saying, Trump agreed to the special counsel. He's doing the special counsel. He was just asked about the special counsel. He's like, no. Why are you telling us there's a special counsel when there's no special counsel? And unless we now have direct proof and evidence here, I do believe we have to call out the cope here. We have to call out the nonsense. We have to call out the fake news. And there's a lot of it here in this alternative, quote, media space. And if you appreciate us for what we're doing and for the many years of work, 21 plus years we've been doing this, subscribe, click the notification button. We always appreciate your ability to spend time with us, as even the Babylon Bee now has turned against Donald Trump, as they just wrote this article saying, man who vowed to release Epstein files berates idiots for believing there are Epstein files. Yes, that's exactly what happened here. And if you're not asking questions, right, if you're not even at least speculating what in the world is going on here, and if you're told, hey, shut up, I don't want to talk about this, you're being extremely disingenuous, you're being extremely fake. And you, as some people have said, are part of a cover-up effort here that truly is one of the worst cover-up efforts ever. And because it's so bad, oh, listen, I think anything and everything is possible now. And that's why I raised my particular theory here. But we got another one here. Breaking. Epstein Island sold to wealthy Middle Eastern businessman named Khadid Nakil Musif. Probably more plausible is, of course, the guy that Trump is making the statements with about Epstein was literally his business partner and neighbor standing next to him during this whole time. Okay? As this administration talked about how they're the most transparent administration in history, the 45th and 47th president of the United States. Yeah, but the files vanished. And here comes my extrapolation, which NJ.com, New Jersey.com, wrote about, and again, this should be an op-ed piece. This is not, there's very little journalistic integrity here, to say the least here. It's written by Rachel Cohen. Yep. And we'll get to her in a little bit. But she writes, right-wing influencer just stoked this bonkers Trump conspiracy theory. We're left to theorize, mainly because we were not getting anything from the government. And I did make it pretty clear, I'm theorizing in my theory here. But again, I've been called a left-wing influencer by the right. I've been called a never-Trumper by the right here. Bill O'Reilly said I'm jihad-loving liberal before. And again, whatever. They go on. As MAGA world continues to obsess over the Epstein files. No, the Democrats are too. The Democrats are using this as a political ploy now. Yeah, I think vast majority of Americans are concerned about this issue. Now, yeah, some of them are more on the right here, but to just declare this a MAGA world issue, no, I don't think so. I think a lot of people care about this. And Rachel writes, President Trump, who appears to want no part, directed his ire at an unexpected target, his own base. The president and his administration officials has faced intense backlash from his own loyalist and far-right conspiracy theorists over their handling of a new memo tied to Epstein. After they had repeatedly vowed to make all files public, Trump appeared to fan flames even further, calling his own voters weaklings and saying that he no longer wants their support if they continue to entertain the case. This right here is just bizarre behavior because it nukes his entire kind of base here. There's a big, strong base of people who were promised this. This is a big, important issue to them. And as Matt Walsh pointed out here, you know, there's people that want accountability and justice here that haven't gotten it, and they demand it now. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And then they go into what Trump wrote on Truth Social, which was just going after his supporters. In later comments to reporters to the White House, Trump railed against stupid and foolish Republicans who fell into the net, basically claiming the Democrats are responsible for the files. Now, that, again, is just a very convenient statement for Donald Trump to make here. But now some of his most ardent supporters do not seem to buy into his response, leaving some to speculate about his motives. Luke Radowski. Okay, before talking about this piece here attacking me, I'm going to talk about it because Keith Olbermann also is going after me, which is pretty funny. Before talking about that and a lot more, we wanted to tell you about LukeUnfiltered.com. Our members site where you get to sign up for less than 20 cents a day and be a part of our little kind of independent media group. I think the best thing going right now is our Telegram chat. I get to talk to you directly. It's our little newsroom, and it's a fun way of being able to kind of interact with me one-on-one, communicate with me one-on-one. Also, by signing up, you get 13 years of exclusive videos, 3 master classes, exclusive merchandise, and access to in-real-life meetups that we do a lot. I'm talking about doing a beach day sometime soon here. Previously, we did nature hikes. We did range days. We just did a meetup in Milwaukee, which was incredible. It was awesome being able to meet you guys. I'm trying to network people so we could actually sit down, touch grass, do fun stuff, network, and understand that there's a bigger world outside of this kind of crazy political circus that all of us are involved in. And I think we need that more than ever. If you agree, sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com. Obviously, you can't afford it. I understand. But we have multiple tiers where you can get involved. If you're balling, doing really good, your support is definitely appreciated more than ever since the IRS came in and took everything from us last year. We're rebuilding, and again, I want to build my coffers so then I could do more on-the-ground reports, just like I did when I went to Epstein Island. I want to do more of that stuff, and I can't. I just don't have the funds to do it because I'm just totally liquidated from last year. I want to, of course, have a little bit of, for savings in case I get sued or in case we need to sue somebody else. There's a lot of lawsuits, so your support now needed more than ever. LukeUnfiltered.com. We greatly appreciate all of your support here to allow us to continue the work that we have been doing for over 21 years. Just make sure to check your spam when you do sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com, and then I look forward to talking to you directly on the Telegram channel. Now let's get back to here. Luke Radowski, right-wing internet personality. That's one way of describing me. I wasn't right-wing before, but I definitely have been coming along more of the right-wing type of politics. And okay, I could get it. Posted a claim on X. What if? That what if is important to me because I'm not saying it's true. There's a lot of people here coping. And you guys, and I understand why this is making headlines. It's making headlines because people are like, oh, look, they're coping. If there's anyone that's not coping, it's me. I've been calling out the cope. I've been calling out the fake news. I've been calling out the disinformation from a lot of the MAGA influencers that have been saying, guys, we got this. We're going to get the files any day now. Trump's doing this for us. I'm telling you. I'm like, you mother trucker. And I've criticized people very heavily and extensively for telling us, no, Trump's doing this because this is 4D chess, so he could do more deportations without protest. What? Ryan, are you kidding me? He's doing, no. He's doing this because he's blackmailing the deep state. And I'm like, no. If you're using the backs of child exploitation to further your political cause, you're evil. Okay? You got to think this one through. A lot of people aren't thinking this through. But I like to speculate because I think it's important to theorize here because, again, we don't have much. We don't have anything. There's sealed documents. There's evidence. There's tapes. There's court records. There's flight logs. There's testimony. There's allegedly 250 victims here. Plus, there are a lot of financial transactions. You get a forensic accountant. Let's go through Epstein's bank account. That was active after he passed away, by the way. Let's go through it. Let's go. If anyone knows the records, the money going in and out, especially to some of the Trump associates that are literally with him at the tarmac that are associated with Epstein. The other guy next to him, Bergram, best friends with Bill Gates. Oh, standing next to him. So you have Bill Gates' best friend, a guy who lived next to and did business with Epstein, standing next to Donald Trump is Donald Trump. It's all a hoax. You're crazy if you believe. We call that out right away. And it spurs on theories to why this such drastic U-turn, which makes me say this. What if Donald Trump is being held hostage right now and forced to do these things? Do you think that's a plausible theory? And again, I made sure it's a theory. I'm telling you, it's a theory. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying, what if? But now you're like, oh, look, he's great. Look, he's bonkers. He's a right-wing influencer. Again, Rachel, go ahead. A little bit of a biased piece here, I would say. A little bit of a biased piece. And you look at her other writings. Elon Musk goes nuclear during unhinged meltdown. It's all so tiresome, especially when it comes to what clearly is someone that is a far leftist, that is politically motivated, that should have been writing an opinion piece rather than a factual piece. And again, you're making your news story about a tweet I did? That's how slow of a news day it is? Come on. There's a lot of other things happening right now that are worth talking about here. But she says, what if Donald Trump is being held hostage right now and forced to do these things? You cut off the most important part. Do you think it's a plausible theory, right? That's the important part here. You cut it out. Whatever. You showed the tweet. It doesn't matter. Radowski, who first rose to prominence as the leader of the 9/11 truther movement in New York. Listen. The leader of the 9/11 truth movement was the family members, the victims, the rescue workers. I just happened to help organize some of those people that came forward, and I helped present their stories to the general public. Then I was vilified, attacked viciously, and said, you're a crazy person. I'm like, here's the family members, here's the rescue workers, here's the survivors, here's their testimony, here's them being lied to by the 9/11 Commission report, here's the reports of the government contradicting itself, here's the government saying this, and then something else happened. Oh, how dare you be disrespectful? And again, this is why they're using it as an attack piece. You believed you were the leader of the 9/11 truther movement. Whatever. His post was filled with replies of both division and support. Yeah. Keith Olbermann came after me. Jordan Page responded right afterwards. And again, I'll explain my thinking. I'll explain this theory in a little bit, but here are some of the reactions. Jordan Peele. This is part of the deal he made to become president. Listen. Plausible. Do we have a smoking gun? Do we have proof? Do we have evidence? No. Now, I think Trump could be manipulated and held hostage by two ways. One, threat of force. Two, manipulation through power. Ring of Sauron, Gollum. The analogy that I've been making all along here from the very beginning, because if you're the powerful people that don't want any accountability, that want to continue the norms, and the norms are continuing, I don't think it's a coincidence that presidents change, and American foreign policy never really changes, even though every single president running promises peace. George W. Bush, I'm going to be a non-interventionist president. That son of a gun bombed the crap out of the world, okay? Barack Obama, we're going to end all this nonsense. Barack drone Obama, okay? Trump, his first presidency, a lot more peaceful than this one. So something happened, something transitioned. He did bomb Syria, but it was more of a show of force, fake bombing, because his daughter cried after the fake psyop of the chemical weapons attack, right? But still, then he bombed Soleimani and then got very close towards a full all-out war with Iran. Biden slowed down a little bit, but still was continuing on a lot of the kind of shadowy black ops operations all around the world with Somalia, with Syria, and then the Syrian government fell under his watch, which is something that the U.S. Pentagon, the CIA, intel agencies have been trying to do for a very, very long time. And then, of course, Donald Trump comes in, bombs Yemen right away. He just bombed Iran. Now he's talking about huge weapons, $100 million weapons deal for Ukraine that he's fast-tracking. Okay, that's a very... Oh, yeah, Trump also, first term, gave lethal weapons to Ukraine. First one. He said, Barack Obama was too afraid to do this. I did this. Listen, there has to be a question now that lies amongst many people saying, we keep getting promised peace. We keep getting promised bring the troops home, which is a popular campaign promise, but it's never followed through. Why isn't it followed through? Because there's probably a bigger force, a bigger power above the president of the United States. Some people will call it the deep state. Some people will call it the lobbyists. Some people will call it the kind of intel agencies that kind of stay consistent. And presidents aren't merely puppets. Now, this is my thinking. Is that puppet knowingly a puppet? Well, with the case of Donald Trump, it's a very fascinating one because he was president before, so he knows how the game is played. And his first presidency, especially with Operation Warp Speed, giving out $2,000 checks, especially saying, 14 days to slow the spread. Yeah. I mean, we look at all of that. Still a lot better than all the other kind of presidents around him, I would argue. But you look at how the coup years went off, they got essentially everything that they wanted to get, right? So he knows what's going on here. You're going to come into that position to be a puppet once again and to do things that were kind of bad for your bases. A lot of people overwhelmingly, and this is why there's such a shock here, a lot of people voted for Donald Trump because they saw him as a disruptor. They said, hey, they arrested him. Hey, they took shots at him. They charged him. They vilified him. They censored him. They destroyed him. You couldn't talk about Donald Trump on YouTube. You couldn't show speeches of Donald Trump afterwards. His supporters were all viciously attacked by the FBI that made them the enemy of the state, the number one enemy of the state. So Donald Trump was seen as retribution, seen as a guy who's going to come in there and actually now hold his promise because of the crazy kind of scenarios, which now makes a lot of people ask, well, how much of that was real? How much of that was staged? How much was that was fake? And that's some people might seem, oh, that's crazy. Listen, with the way that things are going on now, how else do you explain Donald Trump making this huge U-turn, isolating, destroying his base, destroying his political career, destroying his legacy over protecting essentially Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, right? And Kevin Spacey? What? That doesn't make sense. Keith Olbermann here responded, it's the level, isn't it? She's got a Luger pointed at his butt right now, doesn't she? Have you considered psychotherapy? P.S. Congrats. This is the greatest reality avoiding tweet of all time. Superb theater. I get what he's like, oh, you're trying to cope and trying to make this up. If there's anyone who's not doing that, it's me. Again, Keith Olbermann, very unhinged here. He is just clearly foaming at the mouth and Trump bad all the time. But listen, I think there could be a scenario happening behind the scenes where, as I will reiterate, two theories. One, Trump threatened and his family threatened. Like, we're going to take you out. You do what you're told. I don't buy that theory. Because why would Donald Trump rush to go back into this kind of situation where he's being extorted and threatened again and forced to do very unpopular things? That's why I don't buy it. But I think it's worth thinking about in the long scheme of things because who knows, maybe, still a probability. I think the more logical conclusion is the one that I've kind of came to, the one that I have always been speaking about. And that is Donald Trump goes in there. He sees this large extortion ring, and DC's running a run on blackmail and extortion. He looks at the Ring of Sauron, and he's like, wow, this is a powerful ring. This grants me all the power and influence over all these people. I tell them what to do, and they do it. And he's slowly and surely becoming Gollum because he's engulfed in power, and the lobbyists and the intel agencies could be coming at him and be like, yeah, listen, there's going to be a lot of disruptions if you release this list, but you could also use this list for your own political achievements. You could achieve so much with this ring. You could have so much power. You could get so much done. Why don't you just use this power, Trump? And, you know, the guy who sits on golden toilets, I mean, there's a way to persuade him to do what you want him to do without the threat of force. I think that's the more logical, plausible explanation here. I was just simply raising a hypothesis. Obviously, the people who want to believe this will believe this, but I think I've covered my bases by saying what if and saying that I'm asking, is this a plausible theory? Now, I'm not saying this is the theory. Some people are saying it is. Justin Roberts, We Are Change Orlando, said, wait, isn't that how every presidency works? Well, if you kind of look at it, a lot of the presidencies propel and push the same kind of big powers for the big special interest groups. Why? Well, of course, they give us little issues. Yay, we got Coke that allegedly doesn't have fire. Yay! Yay, there's no more dudes in women's sports. Yay! Does that push the needle, though? Does that change the way that the Federal Reserve banking system is run? Does that change the way that the military-industrial complex is run? Does that change the way of the huge unfairness that vast majority of people are facing in this world? Especially here in the United States, as more and more of us are being robbed of our wealth and our futures. Does that move the needle? No. Because essentially, the top big players always get their way. Caroline says here, yep, it's not even that they're closing the case and not releasing evidence. It's how they're going about it that makes it perfectly sus. Yeah, very sus. Very sus with what is going on right now here. And again, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's a foreign government doing this for him. Why would Donald Trump fight so hard to go into a position where he's going to be extorted? I don't know. But if it's me, first time around I was president of the United States, I was extorted, I was forced, I was manipulated, I was threatened. I don't want to be threatened again. I don't want my life and my life of my family members on the line again. Hell no. But if you're promised power and you could manipulate someone psychologically because you know that they love power, I think that's the way to do it. I think that's a more plausible explanation. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section below. A little bit biased of a piece here, Rachel. A little bit biased. I asked again, my audience, and I made it more clearer to avoid... some people say, maybe I should trigger the leftists. But I made it a little bit more clear. Extremely charitable conspiracy theory, right? Which it was. What if Donald Trump is being held hostage by a foreign entity and he knows that the only way to tell people about this is by being very obvious about it? Listen, everyone now knows about the Epstein file. If you're Donald Trump and you're trying to be passive-aggressive against the system, you kind of make it really, really obvious. And if you know you're being kind of manipulated and extorted and threatened, you just kind of let the cat out of the bag without letting the cat out of the bag. You kind of appease everybody here, and you're like, yeah, look, guys, this is how the system runs. Just a heads up here. I don't know. What do you think? 44% of my audience believes it's believable. 55% believes it is not. In the making of this particular video, that poll is still open on twitter.com/Luke We Are Changed. Stay tuned for more. I appreciate everyone signing up and allowing us to exist and increase our coffers here. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/We Are Changed.